In January, we did my annual 31 Days to a More Effective Compliance program where we looked at one thing you could do each day. Well, we're back with the Compliance Tip of the Day. This is the podcast where we bring you daily insights and practical advice on navigating the ever-evolving landscape of compliance requirements. Whether you're a seasoned compliance professional or just starting your journey, my aim in this podcast is to provide you with a bite-sized, actionable tip to help you stay on top of your compliance game. In the chaotic world of 2025 and beyond, compliance will become even more important, and you staying on top of your game will help your company move forward. Today on the Compliance Tip of the Day, I want to take up the topic of how frequently should you have compliance training. What should be your organization's compliance training frequency? How does the amount of training positively or negatively impact your overall training strategy? These questions are not answered in the most recent ECCP or the most recent FCPA resource guide. Still, every company must have a well-designed compliance program that is appropriately tailored in training and communications. Often, compliance professionals think that compliance training needs to be conducted frequently, even if it means repeating the same courses every year. However, compliance training, this is not the right way to do so, because compliance training should be applied in a manner that is risk-based. And if you look at your risks, they are certainly going to change from year to year. Before a company deploys its compliance training, it needs to know what its risks are, and your training program should be designed for this risk. In fact, the ECCP said, what analysis has been undertaken to determine who should be trained and on what subjects? What training have employees in relevant control functions received? Has the company provided tailored training for high-risk and control employees, and have supervisor employees receive supplemental training on how to have a culture of listen up? What about the situation where you need to refresh or clean your training? Can compliance training be viewed as something that needs refreshing or cleaning? I think this clearly the answer to this is yes. So what about compliance or other topics that are so important to your organization that you need regular training, maybe even annually? What are some of the topics that could be done annually that would be appropriate? Well, code of conduct, perhaps. Certainly the importance of speaking up when conduct is observed, how to report that concern, and understanding of the company's non-retaliation program. Workplace safety is always paramount, and as is the disclosure of conflict of interest. While new employees should be required to take detailed courses in their first year so that they can be exposed to key risks in detail, after that, full-length courses could be staggered to a 3-year interval so that you keep the courses updated to avoid overtraining. In the interim, you can move towards a less frequent repetition of lengthy training courses and more frequent refresher or reminder training modules that keep specific risks top of mind. Once again, this fits the 2024 prescription that companies have invested in shorter, more targeted training tend to identify issues and raise concerns more appropriate to compliance. It's a common sense and defensible approach to compliance training if you have a well-documented, auditable trail of your decision-making and your training. So what are today's 3 key takeaways? Well, number one, it should be self-evident throughout this presentation that you need to have a well-reasoned approach to compliance training frequency. 2, lengthier or more full-body training can be given once every 3 years or so. And 3, shorter, more frequent compliance refreshers or reminders can be used to keep top risks top of mind for your employees. I have one friend that calls it espresso shots of training, and that's a great way for you to think about it. What can you deliver that will keep a risk for an appropriate level of employee top of mind? One of of the things that I'm happy to do for you, the compliance profession, is if you have a question or a series of questions you would like some compliance tips on, I'm happy to take any requests that you might want, certainly anonymize them, and give you a quick tip. Either one quick tip or maybe a week's worth of quick tips. So if you have any tips you want about your compliance program, you can shoot me an email at tfox@tfoxlaw.com. This podcast was created and produced with the assistance of AI.